Welcome to Epilogue Podcast, the show where we discuss some stuff that happened on a different show ages ago which nobody really cares about anymore.
Hello, I'm Portponky.
And I'm LeBloc.
Today we are discussing Deep Space Nine, Season 7, Episode 3, Afterimage. Ezri, Garrick, and Worf have confusing feelings that they don't understand. What did you think of this one?
It's okay. Not a whole lot happens, but it's okay.
I'm tempted to say it's not very good. I think it's badly written.
Yeah, I can see that. The only redeeming thing about it is that it addresses something obvious that they had to talk about, and that's how Worf would not be okay with this right away.
Worf's confusing feelings were probably the best of the trio, and his got probably the least time as well. Considering this was a Garrick episode, I really felt that his storyline was kind of terrible.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it as a Garrick episode. And when you frame it that way, this episode's pretty bad as far as Garrick episodes.
Where's the mystery? When did he tell a lie? When did he play with the truth and people's expectations?
He didn't. So you're asking a question I can't answer.
Yeah, it's a leading question. Yeah, he didn't do anything like that, so he wasn't really being Garrick. This could have been replaced with, so that instead of Garrick, it was, I don't know, any other character, O'Brien or whoever. Goodness knows, O'Brien probably does need treatment, therapy and stuff. So in that sense, I didn't like the Garrick stuff. It didn't play into his strengths. It really used his character very weakly.
It's a complete waste of Garrick. The things we love about him, he doesn't do.
I really wanted, about 2/3 of the way through, for him to say he was making up all the claustrophobia stuff.
Just something.
For some reason, I don't know why, but, you know, he would say, well, I do have claustrophobia, but I faked the incidents because ... and then the episode would suddenly become interesting.
I don't like the conclusion either, that he feels like a traitor. I think he would have processed that stuff beforehand.
He loves Cardassia a lot, but he was kind of acting like a confused child or something.
He, over anyone else, knows the cost of doing certain things. If you want to save a bunch of people, sometimes you have to let these other few people die. He knows about that kind of thing.
That's his job for his whole life.
Right, and he even told Cisco, you don't have what it takes, but I do. But I guess he forgot he knows what it takes.
He had what it takes, but now he doesn't. Here's an idea I had pretty much just now. What if he had faked the claustrophobia so he could decode only certain messages in an effort to direct the war in the way he wanted?
Oh, that'd be so good.
And that could play into the whole treachery thing. Oh, I didn't want as many Cardassians to die. I wanted to rip the heart out but leave the body intact.
Yeah, he would try. That would be such a Garrick thing to do. He would want to control the situation and have it go exactly as he wants it. And he would be lying and manipulating people to get there.
Well, if they give him a foot in the door at Starfleet Intelligence, then that's all he needs.
He better do something. He has access to these coded messages, and he's being trusted with this sensitive material. He needs to do something nefarious.
the reason why I wanted him to have faked the claustrophobia was because of the really awful dialogue about how his dad used to lock him in a cupboard.
That part was so bad. I thought Garrick was making it up to make fun of Ezri.
It's the sort of line she would fall for really easily, and then
Right.
that's what I expect later on in the episode. He's going to say, "Oh, come on, he locked me in a cupboard, and now I'm claustrophobic. What do you think this is? Like daytime TV?"
Because that scene, she starts off with the clumsiest counseling session ever. Do you remember anything traumatic happening in a confined space? It's as if she read
TV
how to be,
tropes.
TV tropes or how to be a therapist on Wikipedia or something. It was so bad. It was funny that it was so bad, but then I wanted Garrick to have fun with it and play with her. Oh yeah, nothing happened except this one time I got locked in a closet.
Even without that scene, the rest of the episode's dialogue was not exactly wonderful. I think they actually need to read up on what a counselor or a therapist does. Because Esri just seems to wander into situations and say, "Oh, are you feeling bad? Oh, and why is that? Oh, okay, I get space sick."
Doesn't bother Cisco though. He promoted her promptly.
I'm not familiar with, I think it's naval ranks that it follows. But did he jump her a few ranks? She went from ensign to lieutenant?
I think so. I'm not familiar with ranks either.
She increases a single rank from ensign to lieutenant junior grade. Cisco says she is a lieutenant without specifying junior grade, but she wears one regular pip and one hollow pip, suggesting a single rank promotion.
The impression I got is that he kind of boosted her a few ranks. That's extreme nepotism.
Yeah, he power leveled her.
It's so shameful for Starfleet.
Oh, shame has never gotten in the way of Cisco.
He has no shame, but that's just him. Starfleet should have slightly higher standards. You can't just phone him up and say, "Hey, I'm kind of awesome and high ranking. Can you make this other guy high ranked? Thanks."
Done.
That's how you get a dictatorship.
A lot less paperwork that way.
Yeah, well, you wouldn't want to see Cisco's desk cluttered with iPads.
Everything he does is to limit the number of iPads on his desk.
Yeah, well, one document per iPad. I felt this episode was badly formulated in the same way a few other things are. This doesn't seem to bother other people, but it bothers me.
Go on.
Okay, you know the film Gladiator with Russell Crowe?
Yes.
I didn't really like that film very much because I felt a lot of it was quite boring because we know that he's going to survive at least all but the last gladiatorial battle.
It's been ages. I don't remember the movie at all.
Okay, but the basic formula, you know, he has to do 10 battles or whatever. You know, the first 9 he's going to win. Otherwise, what would the rest of the movie be about? He's not going to die in the first 45 minutes. How that relates to this is that there's this clash of feelings in Esri. Will she stay or will she go? Well, she will stay.
But you've seen this. You know that she stays.
Oh, it's obvious. Was it not obvious to you?
It was, because there's no way they would replace this character and then have her for, what is this, the 3rd episode?
Yeah, she wasn't in the first one, so just 2 episodes.
I couldn't see them bothering to find someone to replace Dax and then get rid of her. right away.
I could see that if she turned up later on, but she turned up right after. She's a replacement for the old Dax, and you wouldn't introduce a replacement and then get rid of the replacement. There'd be no point in that.
And the general theme is, I don't know what to do about how I feel in this weird situation. It kind of mirrors what's going on with the show itself. They had this character on the show for a long time, then they had to replace her, and then I see it as them reaching out to the audience. Hey, we know this is weird, and you're probably unsure of this, but just stick with us, see where we're going. Trust us, please.
Well, I trust them. I think a lot of the shoehorning kind of feeling is probably because they are shoehorning it. It's the last season. They played it safe for a couple episodes, and now they've got to get over this bump quickly. The bump being the reintroduction of Ezri as a character into the social network of the show. That was a terrible explanation.
It works. They can't ignore that, and at the same time, they don't want to waste a whole lot of time establishing all of this.
It's over now. Ezri has a justifiable reason to stay, even if the justification is this kind of mediocre episode. That's fine. They can build on that and leave this as a episode that was not so great, but who cares?
It's not offensively bad, at least.
No, in fact, there's a couple things I definitely want to praise, which are the sound, or the use of sound when Garrick was getting his claustrophobic attacks.
Oh, that was really cool. I like that.
The first one with Odo, when you can see him say, "Are you okay?" But there's no sound, you can just read his lips.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And the second one in the airlock was pretty good as well, with the pan out of him thumping on the glass. Although I don't think there was actually glass there. I think he was faking that.
Okay, I was going to bring that up because that does not look convincing at all. And I thought I thought there was something there in that it was so weak that he wasn't allowed to actually hit it. So he had to stop short. You can really tell.
All Star Trek actors have to be able to stop short because whenever they walk into force fields, they have to mime getting thrown back. So I don't think there's anything in that. But the sound that they dubbed on makes your brain think that there's something there. But no, I think he was just miming that completely.
Probably. I liked the sound, but I wasn't convinced. I can't blame him. You can't stop your fist in midair.
It's physically impossible.
Yeah. While swinging your hardest. It just doesn't work.
That is a nitpicky thing to bring up in an otherwise well shot scene.
Yes, I agree. Another nice shot was when things were getting escalated between Garrick and Ezri, and he was being more and more harsh. The camera slowly zooms in on his face.
It was all shot from below, which made him seem really towering and overbearing.
Yeah.
I love how Garrick can really strike a terrifying kind of silhouette. He can be a sort of really frail little guy, but when he gets wound up, he's sort of becomes quite threatening.
His range is insane. He could be terrifying, he could be goofy, charming. This is all because of the actor, but he could do anything basically with Garrick.
Yep, he's Andrew Robinson. I think he's actually teaches acting at university in California somewhere.
I like to think he shows up in Garrick makeup every class.
No, that's just him. I've made this joke before, but he actually looks like that. And he just wore human makeup when he was the Scorpio killer in Dirty Harry.
That makes sense.
This is the first episode in a long time where I started writing down sort of goofs and nitpicks.
Such as?
I used to do this earlier on in the show, so feels weird to do it again now.
You're out of practice.
Not really. No, I just hold back. Okay, Esri comes into the shrine and says, "Oh, I died in here."
Oh, yeah. I'm glad you brought this up.
No, she died in Medbay. I wouldn't have cared if it wasn't so awkward how Bashir said, "Oh, there's nothing we could do for her. She's 100% dead." And then when they walked in, she was still alive and then died. It made that death stick out quite a lot. So when she says she died in the shrine...
Yeah, as soon as she said it, no, you didn't. You did not die there. You should have. That's what they should have done. But they wanted you to die twice.
Maybe she doesn't remember.
Also, when she talks about dying, she says, it's a strange sensation dying. So the symbiont was still in her? It's still in Jadzia when she died? I would think they would take the symbiont out to preserve it, knowing that...
No, it's still in her.
Oh, okay. Well, then I'm just a jerk.
Well, okay. I don't actually have a direct confirmation of that, but Bashir says that the symbiont was saved. Presumably, it's still in Jadzia when she actually dies. I don't see why they take it out, because then there's a really short time.
But would you want it in an expired body?
Well, once she's actually dead, probably not. But if she's just on life support, then yeah, why not? It keeps the symbiont alive.
Okay. That would have been great if Kira corrected her. No, you didn't die here.
I can imagine Kira doing that.
Get it right.
Jadzia wouldn't have made this mistake.
I can't remember how I felt about Trills speaking in the first person about past hosts, but this episode made me firmly decide that I do not like when they speak as if they're that person still. The moment that sticks out to me is when Esri says, "I was your wife." No, Jadzia was. You have his wife's memories in your little tummy parasite thing, but you're not that person, and they shouldn't... I can't remember it. Did Jadzia do it? I don't know. I can't remember, probably. But they shouldn't do that.
I think that's a justified thing to say, though. The entity that we see in Esri, which is Esri Dax, well, the Dax part was part of the entity that was Worf's wife. And okay, they often kind of hint that it's more than just memories that the symbiont has, but kind of a reflection of the person themselves. And what are you other than a collection of memories? I don't know. I can see why Trills would naturally have more pronouns.
Oh, I didn't think of that. Maybe it can't be translated correctly for us.
She could say Dax was your wife.
Yeah.
I mean, I like how they used the humanoid name and symbiont name, Esri and Dax, or Jadzia and Dax, or whatever. That's kind of a clever idea. They don't really work it into the language of the show, though.
This stuff isn't spelled out, so maybe my conceptual model of how the whole symbiont thing works is off, because I was seeing it as a collection of memories, and that's going to be filtered through Esri, and it's it's going to change those memories, but I'm thinking it as human memories, so it could be completely different.
They have pretty much stated it both ways. They've said it's memories, but they've also done the thing in the episode Facets where the people come back to life.
Oh yeah, I think I complained then too.
Yeah, how does that work? Who knows? And in the season 1 episode Dax, they talk about how the symbiont creates a sort of mirror of the person's character or something like that. I can't really remember. They've been so vague about it that it's unlikely that two people viewing this will have the same exact idea of how it should work.
I guess that's to their advantage. Now they could do whatever, and people will endlessly complain, and it won't matter.
The thing is, though, Trill lifetime stuff is not worth complaining about.
But now Dax has 8 lifetimes, not 7.
Yes, the 7 lifetimes line was beaten into us so many times that when they turn around and go, "Hey, now it's 8," that statement is so dry and lacking in substance now that it's just a complete. I don't want to say anything bad, but I didn't like that they kept bringing that up. Remember that whole episode where Jadzia met her previous host's
Yes.
spouse and it was a massive taboo?
Yes.
And Cisco even said you should probably just take a vacation while she's here because this is going to get serious.
Yeah.
And then in this one, Cisco says, who cares? Reassociation? I'm sure it's fine.
Becoming a religious icon changes you in profound ways.
Changes you into a religious icon.
Yes.
Well, I don't blame Cisco. This is a case of them writing themselves into a corner and then just using Cisco to sort of brush the problem away under the rug.
Bulldoze the corner.
Yeah, pretty much. Garrick says, "Where would I go? Bajor? Probably not. It's rubbish there."
Yeah. He's not wrong.
The only place he can think of. He's working for Starfleet Intelligence. The Federation has hundreds of planets. He could disappear into the night.
Why did he think he was limited?
Exactly. Why? When he says, "Where would I go?" It's a massive galaxy. There's countless places.
But only one place has Bashir.
Garrick's not into Bashir anymore.
Old news. But he wants to be around his buddies, whom he won't admit are his buddies.
It's only because he hates them all, apart from Nog. I liked seeing Bashir's heart break when Esri said, "Oh, if Worf hadn't come along, it would have been you."
Yes, I like seeing his heart broken as well, but I don't like that line. How does she know that? Any number of things could have happened if Worf didn't come along. Maybe a bigger, more handsome Klingon came along.
Well, perhaps, and I don't really think romance generally works like that. It's not like purchasing a car.
Yeah.
If this really good deal hadn't come along, she probably would have settled for you.
She made a list. These are the only people I will marry. And then Worf shot up to the list. That doesn't make any sense. I don't like that she said it.
Whilst the line doesn't make sense, Bashir's reaction was actually quite moving. He sort of crumpled up inside and his face fell off.
The only reason to say that is to break his heart.
Yeah, Esri, for goodness sake, you're a counselor. What were you thinking? Do you have some words of wisdom that will help our mental health?
People should throw themselves into their work.
Hang on, I'm going to come up with a witty comeback. No, I can't. Okay. Kinda, yeah. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, whatever you decide to be a good one.
I think that people shouldn't procrastinate and they should get on with doing the stuff they want to do in life. Because you never know when 1,500 Dominion ships are going to come out that wormhole and kill everyone.
That's a good point.
When he says work, he does mean like your personal vocation.
That's how I interpreted it.
Yeah, he didn't mean if you work at Walmart, you should give it 180%. You can still just call that in. No one's going to blame you for that. So are you going to throw yourself into your work?
Yes. All the
Me
way.
too.
I'm going to launch my body forward into my work.
I'm going to pick my entire body up, aim directly at my work, and throw myself completely at it.
That's exactly what that quote is saying to do.
Give myself enough velocity so I enter into the work.
Make sure you aim well. You don't want to miss and throw yourself at something that's not work.
I could throw myself into someone else's work.
And then you'll move their work, and then you'll mess up their target, and then they'll hit something else, possibly your work, and then
Domino effect.
it's all mixed up and terrible. Bodies
Like
are
this podcast.
flying everywhere.
Okay, let's watch next episode instead of all that crap.
Okay. Bye.